Well, it's a beautiful Monday morning. Good morning. Welcome to News from here on GHOne television. And here's what to expect in the next 60 minutes. Anti-Galamsey Task Force escapes brutal mob attack at Brunikrum near Hidiam in the Ahafo region, allegedly incited by a member of parliament for Isitufi North, Ebenezer Kwiku Ado. Also, United Nations Population Fund warns of looming global shortage of contraceptives, a situation it says could threaten women's health and reverse progress. Also in the bulletin, President of the Greater Accra Regional House of Chiefs, Professor Obuade Noche Odaifio Welenchi III, is urging Ghanaians to make cleanliness a personal habit and not an obligation enforced by authorities. In business, where lithium deal delay hurting projects as Atlantic Lithium Mining Limited decries timelines and output targets, takes a hit as Parliament drags in rectifying agreement. And on the foreign front, Nigerian President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to engage U.S. President Donald Trump following allegations of widespread persecution of Christian genocide in Nigeria. Well, stay with me because I've got the details of these stories and more. Well, grateful for your company this morning. I am Joshua Kujo-Mensah. The details now. Member of Parliament for Chianapaga, Nichema Bila Alamzi, has described the SML deal as a classic case of create, loot and share. He alleged that the contract was deliberately designed to benefit a few individuals at the expense of the state, adding that the revelations by the Office of the Special Prosecutor confirm long-held suspicions about corruption and mismanagement in the deal. Alamzi spoke earlier on GA Today.
Our able president, Mohammed, has called for the contract to be terminated. And the revenue assurance contract of this nature, I don't think in the first place, it wasn't something that we should have considered. OSP, when the letter came out, it is the Secretary of the President,
Dr. Callistus.
Dr. Callistus, that brought the letter out. And OSP too said there were procurement irregularities and contract overreach, and there was no value for money. So you see, when I read through it, I concluded that this is the true definition of, hey boys, let's come together, let's create, let's loot, then we share at the end of the day. That is the true definition of the whole
PP Member of Parliament for Anyaso to Dr. Dixon Adomakokisi says the Attorney General should be the one handling the case involving Strategic Mobilization Limited and former Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta and not the Special Prosecutor. Now, speaking on GA Today, he also called for a mechanism to ensure that the Special Prosecutor cannot unilaterally request a red alert from Interpol without prior approval from a higher authority.
We should rather even put this in the hands of the Attorney General. That's my thinking. He's supposed to be the father of all prosecutions in this country, especially when it comes to financial loss to the state and or to the ordinary Ghanaian. So much I do about nothing when it comes to Ejabring. I really think that enough of his theatrics. He should have gone to court even before Interpol.
Okay.
That is my thinking.
Okay.
And a judge should have supported him in going to Interpol. It adds weight, and it also serves as a cross-checking of even his work.
Now to some other stories this morning, and a team of the National Anti-Illegal Mining Operations Secretariat, NIMOS, led by its Director of Operations, narrowly escaped being lynched by a group of irate youth allegedly orchestrated by the Member of Parliament for Asutifi North, Ebenezer Kwekwado, in the Ahafo region. Now, the incident, which occurred over the weekend when the NIMOS team were returning to Accra after a reconnaissance mission to identify a site for a permanent NIMOS task force base. Now, the team, backed by 10 soldiers, had earlier arrested several men engaged in illegal mining near Brunikrum, recovering weapons, ammunition, mobile phones, and cash. However, as the suspects were being transported to the Fidium police station, the MP, Ebenezer Kwekwado, reportedly arrived with a group of men demanding their release. Now, the group allegedly overpowered the officers, freed the suspects, and chased the NIMOS team from the scene. Now, later out, the police station, a crowd of about 600 people, we are told, is said to have gathered, vandalizing the director's vehicle and assaulting some officers while demanding the release of the suspects and the seized vehicles. The NIMOS director has condemned the incident, describing it as a serious obstruction of justice. All right, so joining us via Zoom now is Nanaya Akwada, Dr. Nanaya Akwada, who is Executive Director of the Bureau of Public Safety. Nana, thank you so much for joining us this morning. And so really, looking at what we have been told happened in Fidium over the weekend, what's your assessment so far from the security perspective?
I think that, first of all, I want to commend the district police officer and his team for an excellent job done. Situations were very tense. It was very, very volatile if you observe the videos. And these guys did great. They did excellent. I mean, for the first time in a decade, I am very proud of, how the police conducted matters. And I also want to think that the soldiers involved also did great by maintaining their calm. These are guys with, team firepower that they could have, by leveraging on that firepower, dispersed the team and, attempted to get away. But looking at the crowd, it was also very tricky. I mean, if they deployed firepower, they could not have probably taken care of the team of people, the excess number of people there. So I want to commend the security services in entirety for, comporting themselves under such high pressure, undue provocation. They were doing nothing but their job. And these thugs, nation wreckers, decided to come against them in the manner that they did. I think that we must, when all the calm is done, we must identify the leaders of this, effort to really reward them.
Right. No, I mean, having assessed that, now, the fact that we are told that there was a near attack on these security personnel, even though they were still in uniform, as a security analyst, that should be really worrying for you.
Yes, it was. It was worrying, but not surprising. You see, we have said time and again that Galamsey and those who are perpetrating in Galamsey, they are a looming group that we must really, really, contain now. Or if we wait, they will become an albatross on our neck as a people. They are a potential source of security threat to our safety, our security. And so it's absolutely important that we contain this threat in the form and the manner that we can. They are not only a threat to our environment, they are a threat to our very physical security. We are talking about trying to take care of the cut the livelihoods of such people, And so you can be sure that they will come at us with every arsenal they have. And you look at countries like Colombia, Venezuela, those countries with drug cartels, Mexico and all. If we don't contain Galamsey now, that's what is going to happen. And these are early warning signals for us as a people to realize that, look, we must marshal every force, every arsenal at our disposal as a nation to make sure that this group does not arm, this group does not grow, this group does not, become sophisticated beyond our capabilities. So I hope that this should send a signal to the government, it should send a signal to the powers that be, that, look, if we don't set up inconsistency with the broken windows theory to contain this menace, it's going to outrun us in a short time. It will not be long at all when they will really overpower us. And we'll be struggling with them, just like some countries are dealing with terror organizations and they are unable to.
So in this instance then, what immediate measures do we need to take to forestall the overtaken?
Thank you. I think we made that clear in our statement that, first of all, we would want the member of parliament alleged to have, mobilized these irate youth to be brought to justice. As I speak to you, I'll be disappointed if he has not been invited by the police. And if every high-profile member who was involved in this shameless act should be invited by the police within 24 hours, possibly arrested and charged for obstruction of justice, obstruction of public officers from carrying their duties. They should be charged. And then we have called, because it involved an MP, or MPs, we have also called for the Speaker of Parliament to immediately constitute an independent panel to have a full-scale investigation into this. And if such persons are found culpable, they should face the full rigors of the law.
Right.
For the irate youth who were involved, it is also important that we do not let anyone off the hook in this particular incident. There are video footages. We have seen who is who. The security services must identify these individuals. And just like was done in the United States during the January 6th riots, they should begin to put these individuals out there as wanted persons, bring all of them to book, and let them face justice.
Right.
Look, it's important that as a nation, we use this as an opportunity to make scapegoats of people, so that people will understand that we are serious about the fight against Galamsey. If we let this particular incident to slide, we will regret it.
Absolutely.
So it is absolutely important that we use this as a leverage to send a strong signal out there that nobody, regardless of your status in society, will go off the hook if you are found to be impeding the national effort at securing our water bodies and securing our livelihoods.
Nana, thank you so much for your time. Nana Akwada is Executive Director of the Bureau of Public Safety. But what we do know now is that the IGP has directed the CID to take over investigations into this particular matter, for which reason the MP at the center of this whole melee has been invited to assist in investigations, and that's according to a statement released by the Ghana Police Service a couple of minutes ago. And ladies Later on, we'll be delving deeper into that. But most of you have also been sharing your concerns about this particular worrying development on social media. And Nana Ama Akwa is joining me to help us appreciate what your perspectives are on social media. Nana, what are they saying?
Well, Joshua, let's start with Facebook. We have Komla who says, my question is, what was their mission there? There being who? We want to know whether it's the youth or NIMOS. We also have Ayembela asking, what is the cause? Daryl says, I watched this video over and over, and I'm now watching for the 20th time, I think he's trying to say. Now, I'm asking myself a lot of questions that have got no answers. And then we have Nate who asks, so the military not get gun? Emmanuel says, okay, we day here, patiently waiting. Eddie is asking the reason for the attack. Samuel says, when it's coming, it's doing. We also have Sad, who says we are waiting for a few moments later. We have here Eja. The problem we have as a country is that politics has taken centre stage. Ordinary party constituency chairman is more powerful than an army commander. The security is not allowed to work freely in full capacity by the politicians. So the insecurity will keep soaring. We have here Patrick, who says Aban Papa Abba. We have Kojo saying, well done, Ghana police. Togbe says they will go for a return match with their colleagues in a few moments later, and these same guys will be crying victims on TV. We also have here Samuel. Yes, this is what I was thinking long ago. We are not allowing soldiers to be soldiers. So it will get to a point that no security agency can instill fear in us. It's just a time bomb. The youth will spark up, and no one can stand for them. Paul thinks that JM is sleeping on the Galamsey fight. Prosper Kobe says, wait, small time, the soldiers will revenge it. Just wait for 2 days. Then we have Kenneth saying, Ghana Armed Forces, we must be careful. Diego says, military should respond by visiting them at dawn. Citizens must respect our servicemen and women. Emmanuel says, this is not angry youth, this is invited youth. We have Victor saying, what is the use of the guns they are carrying? We continue here, but I have some other comments as well from some political actors. We have Eric Ajay, who says he has a picture of Honourable Ebenezer Kweku-Addo saying that your actions are unparliamentary and it is a shame for you as an MP. How can you fight against what the president and the entire nation are seeking? You have embarrassed truly everyone. Joshua Atamensa says the MP for Esutifi North does not deserve any mercy. A test case for JM if the story is true. We have Oliver Bakavomawa also saying arrest the MP. I think now, it's getting interesting. Let's see what happens as time goes on. But the right thing must be done. We must all come together to fight against Galamsey. My name is Nanama Akwa. Joshua, back over to you.
Of course, we all need to come together and support the concerted efforts to fight or stamp out illegal mining as we support the president of the land to do so. But what we also do know now is that the MP, the Esutifi North MP at the center of this, we earlier contacted him and he says that in a short while he will also be releasing a statement for which reason he could not offer us that interview. But then we'll be waiting on that statement. He says that will also clarify things from his perspective, because earlier as well I engaged an assemblyman for the area who says that indeed the MP did not marshal the young people in the area. He actually was on his way to a funeral and chanced upon this and decided to get into it and also calm tempers. But in the coming days, I'm sure the investigations will unravel more. Now, the District Chief Executive for Etiwa East, Ernest Owusu Tim, has begun deploying gas welders with anti-illegal mining task forces to dismantle Shamfam boats and other equipment used for illegal mining on the Birim River. A move, he says, is more of a deterrent and effective than the traditional practice of burning or simply damaging engines of Shamfam boats.
On Friday, the first gas welder was deployed together with the Anti-Galamsey Task Force formed by the Etiwa East District Assembly onto the Birim River. The welder's task is to cut the Shamfam machines and boats into pieces as scraps, leaving nothing behind. Smaila Ahmed is one of the task force leaders.
And I had also Yababa be 2 machines almost 3 times. Ewa Hano, Ube 2 years, essence machine born near Omadi. Ube 2 years, no master Babe, Omasa for top for the Abba. It's a develop a strategy, said the flame now and on a boy then. Thereby, the gas weather, you buy a picture machine now, near the Sabi BI then, at the Ako. and no ubi in fan yeden and fan but before to wait me yeden a big picky boat no for front now why incur a lot of costs and some of it yeden your face says I met your first one a bed into the machine for fast and at the same time we do so well if you actually be on the same work or to say they say the enya dia you be too nemo ye ba ye condemn bibia kra na enya dia will be for the machine go back to be.
The DCE for Itiwa East NSO Swing team said the district has for long battled illegal mining and after reviewing past enforcement efforts concluded that burning and destroying engines alone was not enough because the engines are relatively cheap and easily replaced. He believes their new approach will discourage investors and financiers who build the Chamfan machines for desperate young people to mine from the Birim River, arguing that losing 100,000 Ghana cedi boat is much stronger deterrent than losing an engine that can easily be replaced.
The only way out to eliminate this Chamfan on the Birim River is to hire the service of a weather. That will go for a gas weather, so that once we go, we rather dismantle the boat itself, which it will be very difficult. But when they come back, they will come and see nothing, because there will be nothing on the river. So basically, that's why we decided to adopt it. And we know that once other districts and once government even adopt this kind of strategy, it will work.
The DCE, an indigene who is familiar with local mining dynamics, said he has worked in partnership with community leadership since taking office and has declared all river bodies in the district no-go areas for illegal mining. He said the community leaders, including chiefs, have now become watchdogs over their own rivers. The community-based approach model, the DCE says, is working perfectly in dealing with illegal mining on the rivers.
Well, away from illegal mining stories, let's talk about another development that should be of great concern to you and me. The United Nations Agency is calling on government and partners for a stronger domestic financial support to safeguard family planning and expansion of education and reproductive health. The call was made at the summit in Colombia ahead of the ICFP 2025. Now, the United Nations Population Fund is warning of a looming global shortage of contraceptives, a situation it says could threaten women's health and reverse progress in countries like Ghana. In a statement ahead of the International Conference on Family Planning taking place in Colombia next year, UNFPA Executive Director Diane Keita stressed that contraceptives save lives and urged governments and partners to increase funding to protect access, especially for women and adolescent girls. UNFPA says funding cuts and shifting global priorities are already affecting supplies in many communities, raising concerns about unintended pregnancies and safe abortions and maternal deaths. Ghana, which has made gains in reproductive health, remains vulnerable. Now, modern contraceptive use among women has risen to about 27%, but 3 in 10 women still lack access. A reduction in donor support, including a recent halt in U.S. aid funding, has created supply gaps, with UNFPA now covering about 40% of the country's needs. Well, let's speak to a man who is a medical practitioner, is also a member of parliament for the people of Garu, and he's joining me. Okay, well, we'll get to speak to Dr. Thomas Anaba shortly, but it's very important that we do have a conversation on the back of this development, and Samuel Arthur is a public health analyst, and he's joining me via Zoom for some questions and a conversation on this. So, Mr. Arthur, thank you so much for joining us. Now, looking at what we are saying is funding not coming in as we would have expected. The cuts are there. And so now you're told that it's also going to affect sexual and reproductive health interventions as well. How concerning is this for you as a public health analyst?
All right, so thank you, and a very good afternoon to your cherished viewers. When I get news like this, I begin to shiver in my spine and I ask myself where we are going as a country with our reproductive health needs, and particularly issues regarding women's health and children's health. Because this is something we've been talking about in the last 15 years, and till date as a country, we have not been able to brace ourselves up to the point where within our local setting, we can be able to raise resources and funding to take care of critical health needs of women and children. So for me, it looks like it's the same story we keep hearing every time. Today is shortages of vaccine. Now we are coming to where procurement is becoming an issue. Now, when can we be able to take control of our own health as a people? Now, I'm beginning to get worried because now our development partners, it looks like they are pampering us too much. Of course, it will be very dire for them to leave us to our fate. But from the way we are behaving, it is obvious that our women and children are not priority to us. And for that matter, in our locations, and ensuring that procurement are made timely and all that to ensure we have all these contraceptives and various drugs that actually facilitate. What else can we do for ourselves? Because we need our women and children to preserve our generation. So for me, it's like a fait accompli, something like much ado about nothing. As far as we keep going, development partners are meeting, and the same issue keeps coming up. So,
well, we apologize. Samuel Arthur's network is a bit problematic, so we are unable to continue with the conversation. But the point is well made that we need to prioritize the sexual reproductive health needs of our citizens. We need to take that destiny into our own hands. But let's move away from that as well, because President of the Greater Accra Regional House of Chiefs, His Royal Majesty Professor Boade Noche Odaifio Wellenchi III, is urging Ghanaians to make cleanliness a personal habit and not an obligation. He insisted that maintaining a clean environment should be a voluntary civic duty rather than one enforced by authorities to cultivate a culture of environmental consciousness in their communities. Speaking during the monthly cleanup exercise in the La Dadekotopon municipality, Professor Boade Noche Odaifio Wellenchi III stressed that a clean Ghana will undoubtedly attract more tourists, thereby boosting the country's economic development.
The cleanup exercise, which was observed throughout the region, saw the President of the Greater Accra Regional House of Chiefs and the Minister for Local Government, Chieftaincy and Religious Affairs participate in 3 different constituencies: Krowo, Lejokuku and La Dadekotopon. During the exercise, gutters were desilted and overgrown bushes were cleared. Addressing participants after the exercise, His Royal Majesty Boade Noche King Professor Odaifio Wellenchi III reiterated the significance of a clean environment to economic development through tourism.
As we strive to make Ghana the top tourism destination in Africa, we must take sanitation seriously. No reasonable person will choose to travel to a country or a continent with great tourist attractions without poor sanitation. A clean environment is essential for attracting tourists, boosting the tourism industry, and increasing revenue for economic development.
The Nungwa area head of the Church of Pentecost, Apostle Dr. Dela Kwampa, who mobilized church members to participate, encouraged other denominations to join in subsequent exercises, emphasizing that cleanliness leads to godliness.
It's interesting that as a Pentecostal church, sometimes we do healing at church, and then it's not all the diseases that are caused by demons. Some are caused by the environment. And so when we gather this morning to clean up, we want to say that this should not be a 9-day wonder, but we are educating the community and the public that they should just have a cleanliness. They should be sensitive to cleanliness, and they should stop littering the community. They should stop dumping rubbish in our...
For his part, the Minister for Local Government, Chieftaincy and Religious Affairs, Ahmed Ibrahim, expressed gratitude to all participants and promised to enhance logistics to all assemblies.
we are left with is to making sure that we are able to provide logistics. There was a clear logistical challenge. We are not yet done with the purchase of dustbins, containers, boiler taxes, compactors, wheelbarrows, Wellington boots, shovels. There's a logistical challenge. That's the only challenge, but that cannot be blamed on the MCAs or the individuals. I think we as a ministry must carry that one on board.
The next National Sanitation Day is scheduled for December 6, 2025.
Well, you're still watching news from here on GHOne television with me, Joshua Mensa. Let's bring you the business.
The Business Brief is brought to you by CompuGhana. Passion for technology.
Afternoon, General Manager of Atlantic Lithium Limited, a British-Australian mining firm, Ahmed Salim Adam, says the delay in the ratification of the Weya lithium agreement by Parliament is impacting the company's mining projections. He explained that the government's 13% stake is not just about collecting taxes, but also involves making decisions that will support and promote lithium mining, ultimately enhancing the welfare of the country's miners. According to Ahmed Salim, the potential of the project is to create jobs for residents of Weya near Salt Pond in the central region, increase local participation, and contribute millions in taxes to the economy.
We've not started operation yet. We pay taxes now, as I said. Last year we paid about 19 million cedis in taxes altogether. The hope is that we will achieve ratification by the end of the year. Very optimistic that happens. Then we'll get our board to take a second look at an investment decision, and then we can break ground. And then there's about 18 to 24 months of construction, and then we start production. We will only pay dividends when we start production, and then we make a profit. What is significant with our project is that government has a significant stake, 13% free carry as we know it, and there's an opportunity also for MIF to invest. They will make up their mind very soon, I'm sure. I'm hopeful that they do and they come on board, and so government has a significant stake, and so it's not just about taxes anymore. It's also about having a stake and being in the boardroom and contributing to the decision-making process, and also deciding when dividends should be paid or not. The minister has been very cooperative, very supportive. He understands the industry. He's not new to mining or the heavy industry. We've had a lot of engagements with the Honorable Minister and the Minerals Commission. The indications are that during this session we would hear.
Well, still in business, the Social Security and National Insurance Trust, NIT, says it is intensifying public education and leveraging technology to encourage more people in the informal sector to contribute to the scheme. This comes as data shows only a small percentage of Ghana's workforce in the informal sector makes the SNIT contributions.
Out of a population of about 34 million people, it is estimated that over 2 million are active contributors of SNIT, out of which 708,731 people, representing 34% in the formal sector. The private sector now accounts for roughly 2/3 of all contributors, with over 96,000 private establishments registered under the scheme. However, contributions from the informal sector remain low. Some self-employed contributors in Koforidua believe enhanced public education will help bring many on board from the informal sector.
Me contribute was net in the minimum. Na sana minimum kamede mi use mu ntem. Enti eche on be cheche mu ba sorry ba ye meeting ase be chire mu no na me de me ho dwane. Na nia me sre e wo mo ne se omo nko ba bibia because na mente na mete ya nka me start ntem. Enti omo nyire omo ho na omo da ubo na enkwachiri. Ekwachiri a me gidi se me nuan bia omo so nte se me no omo te a omo be dwane.
1 to 2 ne ma yi a ukọ wa ho meje mu a ya na setna na ye den. Enti kane ne de na nka ye nim se ya ban nwuma ye fonko an na etua SNIT. Enso no omo ma ye beti ase se nsano adwumafo nyina nso tumi tua SNIT. Enti no ehye me nkran se ne na Me so me de me ho ebehye mu bi. Se na ebe ya daachi bi me ko ma ho megye mu a. Me so metumi anya ne aban nwumayefo no so tumi nya no me so metumi benefit bi.
At the launch of the 60th anniversary edition of the Senate Mobile Service Week in Koforidua, Director General of Senate Kwesi Afrebaini said the trust is expanding digital services to make contributions easier and more convenient, in addition to 853 physical branches. He said a virtual branch, which is expected to go live before the end of the year, will operate 24 hours a day and complement existing tools like the Senate mobile app and USSD code.
We are getting into the market, and the essence is simple: bringing our services much closer to the people that we serve. I think there are exciting times to be a member of Senate. Beyond the conventional benefits of Senate, i.e. income security when you go on retirement, invalidity pension, immigration pension, survivor benefits. Whenever, unfortunately, you get called earlier behind the time projected, we still care for you even past the...
Regional Minister Rita Kusiajiawati urged all workers, especially those in the informal sector, to take their Senate contributions seriously.
Many workers, especially in the informal sector, often find it difficult to visit Senate offices due to distance or busy schedules. With this outreach, Senate is coming directly into their workplaces, markets, and transport terminals to help them register, check contributions, update records, and learn about their benefits.
For GHOne TV and Star FM, Koforidua.
Well, that's your business this afternoon. Time to bring you sports.
The Business Brief was brought to you by CompuGhana, passion for technology.
Welcome on to sports. We begin with the Ghana Premier League action from this weekend. We have some exciting results recorded across the country in a GPO match week 9. So match 8, sorry. They have the results on your screens at the moment. So Friday, Nations drew away with Bechem. Game ended 0-0. Then we had on Saturday, Hold in Mediama to 1-1 draw. Kotoko, Tam, 2 for returning from Africa. They won 4-2 against Karela. Then we had Dreams defeating Samatex by 2-0. Then it was a 10 of Swedo All Blacks who drew 1-1 with Heart of Lions. Gold Stars, the defending champions, won 1-0 against Young Apostles. House of Oak went away to win 2-1 against Holy Stars from Basake. And then Chelsea of Brekum also won 1-0 against Vision FC. With the last game, 11 Wonders losing Rihanna Stars by 1-0 in games played over the weekend in the Ghana Premier League. On the back of that particular result, Kotoko's game, which was of course the home game, they won 4-2 against Karela. And after the game, their coach, assistant coach, I should say, Prince Owusu had this to say, or midfielders who stepped up to score the goals for Kotoko in the game over the weekend against Karela.
I'll give kudos to the midfielders. It was something that we were all struggling with, trying to make Donzo do something. Today, me personally, Donzo didn't play bad. Yes, he had some chances that he had to finish it, but I couldn't finish it. I think he gave some assists, and then we scored from that. Yeah, with the two boys, I will just want you to know that we have two brilliant guys in the middle there. That's Chet and then GHOne. They are very good with the ball, and without the ball too, they do a lot of work. They tackle and they win balls, and they give good passes as well. And today they add this one to it. It was amazing. We were all happy for them, and we hope to keep them going such a way, because it's very necessary that we can get some goals coming from the midfielders as well.
Kotoko's deputy coach Prince Owusu speaking in that. So let's go on to men's football now. We had a match week 1 games of the Ghana Women's Premier League also on it over the weekend. That's the results for the Northern Zone. It was a 2-2 draw between Savannah and also Ampium Dakoan ladies. Northern ladies also lost at home 1-0 to Prisons ladies. Ashton ladies won 1-0 against Kumasi Academy. Dreams ladies won 3-1 against Super ladies from Tamale. And Fosu Royal won 5-2 against Northern City. So lots of goals over the weekend in the Northern Zone. And it was the same situation as well for the Southern Zone as well. That's also produced several goals over the weekend in the Women's Premier League in Ghana. And of course, for the Southern Zone as well, we had about 15 produced by the teams involved in the Southern Zone in the ongoing games. Jonina also won 4-0 against Soccer Intellectuals. We had Police Elite also winning 4-1 over Halifax Queens. Epiphany also lost their first game against Army Ladies by 2-1. Oak Ladies, House of Oak, the women's team, drew goalless with Hazakes Ladies. Samatex, the new entrants, won 2-1 against Lady Strikers in their first game in the Women's Premier League here in Ghana. So some 34 goals scored in total over the weekend in the Women's Premier League. That's match day one for the women. Kicking off on the high note, hope the goals continue in the following games in the Ghana Women's Premier League game. So that should be it for us in sports. My name is Benjamin Yamwa.
Well, in international stories, this afternoon, Nigerian President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is expected to meet with the President of the United States, Donald John Trump, over the recent claims of Christian genocide in Nigeria. Trump has been vocal on social media about an alleged Christian genocide believed to be ongoing in Nigeria. He recently threatened to deploy military intervention in the matter. However, Nigeria's presidency confirms a meeting has been scheduled with the American side to resolve the matter. In a statement on X, Presidency of Nigeria said the government has since 2023 maintained an open and active engagement with Christian and Muslim leaders alike and continues to address security challenges that affect citizens across faiths and regions. Well, let's get some perspectives on this matter by speaking to Dr. Ishmael Lovo. He is an international relations expert. Doc, thank you so much for joining us. Now, looking at the position of the U.S. on this matter, is it a case of showing real concern for the people of Nigeria, the Christians in Nigeria, or this is just another political grandstanding?
Thank you very much. I think that everybody in this world knows that Nigeria has issues with insecurity for a very long time. And so behind the issue of having solidarity for Nigerian Christians is also the broader issue of U.S. interest in West Africa, and for that matter, Nigeria. So it will not be entirely true that the U.S. and Trump are doing this simply for the well-being of Christians in Nigeria. Of course, it signals the importance they attach to religious sentiment in their foreign policy, but that is not the entire truth. They are trying, as in my reading, to put pressure on the Nigerian government to deal with that situation that has persisted for long. That is one breath of it. But behind that, you will find out that the U.S. has many interests in the West African sub-region, and perhaps pushing Nigeria and having Nigeria act in certain ways may be of interest to them. One of it is that U.S. and Nigeria has many issues, particularly in immigration, particularly Nigerians' association with BRICS and others. This may force Nigeria to come to the negotiation table, and then many other deals may be made. It is also true that Nigeria is a large producer of oil, and we know that wherever there's oil, and we know the interest that the U.S. pursues when oil is, and for instance, if you take Libya as a case. So yes, behind the religious pretense and the religious assertions, we must begin to look at the broader U.S. interest in Nigeria, and for that matter, the sub-region. So what I perceive will happen is that they may not essentially put troops on the ground. So right. I don't believe that the U.S. will put its soldiers on the ground in Nigeria. Because if you look at Trump over time, he has demonstrated that he is not willing to deploy U.S. troops on the ground. So they may work together with the Nigerian administration to have targeted bombing or attacks on places that they identify as militia targets. That may be one option they may have. They may also have the option of working with the Nigerian to kind of allow U.S. troops to be stationed and then provide some sort of training and support for Nigerian armed forces. That may be a likely scenario that the U.S. may be working in, given the fact that Niger has thrown the U.S. troops out of its territory. So if you could push Nigeria a little bit further and have some U.S. troops as trainers, as providing assistance to the Nigerian military, that may compensate for the loss of men that were pursuing U.S. interests in Niger. So there are various dynamics at play. But essentially, because once they designate Nigeria as a country of concern, the Nigerian political class will also be under a little bit more scrutiny. And therefore, those of them that are perceived to be linked to the militia will be targeted with sanctions. So they may also virtually target U.S. Nigerian economic interest. And so these are the various dynamics that are at play, not only religion.
But let's bring you GHOne now.
Welcome to the Africa Prosperity Dialogues, where business and political leaders meet to drive Africa's single market.
Distinguished guests,
of the year as the supercar spectacle takes over the capital city Accra on December 21, 2025. The event's launch over the weekend was a resounding success, showcasing the stunning display of sophisticated luxury and exotic cars. To be hosted at the Boteman Sports Complex, car enthusiasts are encouraged to purchase their early bird tickets through the event's website at a cost of just 100 Ghana cedis. Here is Martin, who is part of the organizing body, providing details about some of the cars during the launch.
People are literally living examples that these cars are here and then they are being driven and driven hard. So Supercar Spectacle has brought out some of their lineups that are going to be displayed at the Boteman Sports Complex on the 21st. So we have some interesting machines over here like the GT63 SE Performance. This is actually one of one in Ghana. The GT63 SE Performance. This is the only one of its kind in the country. That should tell you the kind of exclusivity that this event is going to be bringing. And we have a G82 BMW M4 competition. A lot of people know BMW, but this is a G82. This is a competition. Then we have an Audi RS6 GT. This is one of about 500 or 600 in the whole world. I genuinely stand to be corrected. And then there's an Audi RS7 by MTM. This is pushing excess of 1,000 horsepower. Then we have Wolf Auto X's BMW F80 M3. Then there's an Audi RSQ3 MTM pushing excess of 653 horsepower. Then there's a Mercedes-Benz A45S proper pocket rocket. Another pocket rocket is sitting here. This is in the form of an Audi RS3. And then this car, this is a big boy. This is a Mercedes-Benz. This is a Brabus G700 6x6. This is by Mercedes-Benz with the Brabus treatment. I love the whole carbon fiber bits. This car goes right now, as it stands, the value is excess of $1.5 million. That should tell you that there's so much value underneath the show. And then
I'm photo bombing.
This is our host James. Anything Supercar Spectacle related, James is your man.
Yes. Let me just say it again. I see what you're doing, but yeah. 21st December 2025 at the Boteman Sports Complex, guys, we are active from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. 21st December 2025.
We are all going to be there, so you guys should come in your numbers.
Early bird tickets are out now.
Right. How much are they going for?
100 cedis.
100 cedis. You guys should patronize and buy them ASAP.
Yes. Star 713 star 33 star 623 hash. Again, star 713 star 33 star 623 hash. Big shout out to EIB Network and GHOne.
And the main man, Uncle Bola Busy, yes. Uncle Bola Ray, for making this happening. Thank you for coming through for us.
My favorite car, the Mercedes G63 6x6. Tell them about it.
This is the only one.
This is the only one of this generation, but we have a new one of the new generation. So we have two.
We have two here. So fun fact about this is Mercedes-Benz didn't actually make the successor to this. It was Brabus. So that one goes for excess of 1.3, 1.2 million euros. So combined, the two of them are excess of about 3 to 4 million euros. Just this and then the other one. That should tell you the kind of value that Supercar Spectacle is bringing. We have the CEO of Ash Motors' Dodge Charger Hellcat over here. We have an Audi RSQ8 over here, very beautiful. My main man Calvin with the camera. Then we have a nice G63 over here. We have our very own Uncle Bola Race Range Rover. I'm hiding the number plate so that people don't catch him in town. Then, you know, I actually love this. This is Nissan GTR Nismo. This belongs to the CEO of Twist. I love the exposed carbon bits. You know, I like how it complements. The market value of this, I'd say this is excess of $200,000, around $150,000 to $200,000. Because this is not just a standard GTR, this is a Nismo. Then we have a Mercedes-Benz Maybach over here. So this is a Brabus. This is a Maybach with the Brabus treatment. So you get the best of both worlds. And then there's a Audi RS6 Performance over here. And this is a Mercedes-Benz G-Wagon by Philip Plain. So I think this was a collaboration between Mansouri and Philip Plain. So this is a Star Trooper edition. So I think you have the Tiffany blue interior, like the Tiffany blue seats. You know, it's a very, very, very expensive car. Then we have, this is actually kind courtesy of Dr. Osei Kwame Despite, CEO of Despite Media. So these are both his cars. He's also a sponsor for Supercar Spectacle. So this is a McLaren 720S. This also belongs to Dr. Osei Kwame Despite. This is a Mercedes-Benz AMG GT. And then we have a Chevrolet C8 Corvette. I love you know, one thing about cars is they're extension of yourself and your personality. So you see how this is customized. You have a very nice front lip. You have a very beautiful wrap. So this is like a Jordan themed or inspo vehicle. And then we have substantials McLaren 720S. This is one of the fastest cars in the country. So to all our brothers in Nigeria, all over West Africa, we are throwing a challenge to them. We want to make motorsports come of age in Ghana. So if you feel you have the horses, come to Ghana and let's make it happen. And then we have the CEO of Auto Checker / Auto GHOne's Porsche 911 ES 800 package. So this is pushing excess of 800 horsepower. We have also, this is Uncle Chris's Bentley Continental GT. And then this is our very own godfather, Baba, Mr. Ibrahim Mohammed's 992 Turbo S. This is actually the first one that has come to Ghana. This is the MTM treatment. So this was their press car. So I think this is pushing excess of 900 horsepower. And then this is a Lamborghini Aventador SV. This is the Lamborghini Aventador SV. What makes this car so unique is the whole world. Lamborghini only made 600 of these.
All right, so if you're a car enthusiast, as I am, then on the 21st, we're meeting at the Boteman Sports. Get to enjoy all these beautiful whips and machines being paraded here in the country. But that's how we draw the curtains on the news this afternoon. There's more news for you at starfm.com.gh. I am Joshua Kujamensa. Good afternoon.